My phone charm. The irony was a bitter pill we swallowed without comment. My father found a small, modern condo in a quiet complex in town. It had no garden, no history, no ghosts. He moved in with a suitcase of clothes, his woodworking tools, and a single photograph of me from graduation. He left everything else behind for the stagers to deal with. It wasn't a home, it was a shelter. It was enough. True to his word, he liquidated what he could. When the sale of the house closed, he deposited a sum of money into my account that made my breath catch. It was more than the $80,500 she had stolen. It was restitution, seeded with a father's guilt and grief. "This wipes her debt to you off the books," he said, his voice firm. "Now the rest is between you and the credit bureaus, and between her and the state." The money was a life raft, but it felt heavy. Tainted. I used it to pay off the fraudulent accounts that hadn't yet been wiped clean by the fraud investigations. I opened a secured credit card to begin the agonizingly slow rebuild. I put the remainder into a high-yield savings account labeled Future, Mine. It felt less like a fund and more like a monument. My mother's legal process was a distant clinical drama. She was denied bail due to the amount of the theft and what the judge called a pattern of deceptive conduct. She remained in custody. Through her public defender, she accepted a plea deal, guilty to 2 counts of felony identity theft and 1 count of grand theft. The sentencing was scheduled for 8 weeks out. The DA told me the guidelines suggested 3 to 5 years. I felt nothing when I heard it. It was just data. My father filed for divorce on the grounds of fraud and irreconcilable differences. It was fast-tracked. She did not contest it. The decree arrived in the mail one ordinary Tuesday. He opened it, read it, and placed it in a filing cabinet without a word. That night, I found him in his condo's tiny garage sanding a piece of oak with a ferocious focus. He was building a new dining table. "Something that's just mine," he explained, not looking up. I returned to my apartment in the city. The merger proposal I'd been working on had been reassigned. My professional reputation had a hairline fracture. Word gets around, and family trouble is a phrase that invites quiet speculation. I threw myself into new projects, working late, my focus a scalpel. I was harder now, less trusting. My colleagues called me driven. I knew I was just armored. A month after the arrest, a letter arrived, thick legal paper, from the correctional facility. My address was written in her careful, looping handwriting. I almost threw it away unopened, but curiosity, or maybe the need for a final piece of the puzzle, made me slice it open. Ava, I am not allowed to call, so I am writing. I know you may not read this. I will likely write many you will not read. I need to do it anyway. They have me in a dormitory with 11 other women. The noise is constant. The silence I miss is the one in our old kitchen in the morning with you doing homework at the table and the coffee brewing. I traded that for this noise. I am the fool in every story. I am in a therapy group. They make us say our crimes out loud. I said, I stole my daughter's future to pay for a dream I was too lazy to build myself. The woman next to me, who robbed a liquor store, patted my hand and said, "That's cold, Mama." It was the first honest review of my business. I will be sentenced soon. I will take whatever time they give me. I deserve it. I think of your father every day, the look on his face when he understood. That is my life sentence, no matter what the judge says. I do not ask for forgiveness. I have no right. I only want you to know one true thing. In my twisted, selfish logic, I thought I was borrowing from your abundance. I saw your strength, your brilliance, your perfect credit score as this boundless resource. I thought I could take a little and you'd never miss it. I never understood that I wasn't taking from your foundation. I was stealing from your foundation to build my own dollhouse. I am so sorry I did not see you. I was too busy trying to make you see me. If you ever have children, you will be a wonderful mother. You will know that a mother's job is to build the floor under their feet, not steal it from under them. N. Diane. I read it once. Then I folded it neatly, slipped it back into the envelope, and placed it in the bottom drawer of my desk under a stack of old tax returns. I did not cry. I felt a strange, hollow ache, like a bone that had been broken and healed slightly wrong. It wasn't love. It wasn't hate. It was the ghost of understanding, and it was almost worse. The day of her sentencing arrived. My father and I did not discuss attending, but that morning he showed up at my apartment, clean-shaven, wearing a dark suit. "We should go," he said. "We should hear the sentence, for closure." We drove to the courthouse together, the same unified silence wrapping around us. We took seats in the back of the small wood-paneled courtroom. It smelled of lemon polish and old anxiety. They brought her in. She wore a standard-issue jumpsuit, her hair pulled back. She looked thinner, older, her eyes scanning the room until they found us. She flinched, a tiny, painful movement, then dropped her gaze to the floor. She did not look at us again. The judge listened to statements. The DA outlined the calculated nature of the crime, the profound breach of trust. Her public defender spoke of her remorse, her clean record, her willingness to plead guilty. The judge asked if the victim wished to make a statement. All eyes turned to me. I felt my father's hand, a firm pressure on my arm. "You don't have to." I stood. The room was utterly quiet. I walked to the podium. I looked at my mother. For the first time since I saw her on the security footage, our eyes met. I saw shame, regret, a broken plea. I felt nothing but a vast, calm emptiness. "Your Honor," I began, my voice clear and steady in the hush, "the financial harm has been quantified. The legal process has worked. There is nothing I can say that the evidence has not already screamed. The debt is being repaid. But the theft of trust, of safety, of a mother, that has no dollar value and no restitution. I have no statement for the court, only an observation. The loudest consequence of this crime is the silence it left behind. In our family, there is nothing left to say." I returned to my seat. My mother was crying silently, her shoulders trembling. The judge adjusted his glasses, his expression grave. He sentenced her to 4 years in state prison with eligibility for parole after 2, contingent on completion of a financial responsibility program. It was a fair sentence. It changed nothing. As the bailiffs led her away, she turned her head one last time, her eyes seeking mine. I held her gaze, my face a mask of calm, until she was led through the side door and out of sight. It was the final exposure. Outside the courthouse, the sun was blinding. My father put on his sunglasses. "Let's get lunch," he said. We went to a diner he used to like. We ate cheeseburgers, we talked about the weather, about the new table he was building, about a potential promotion at my firm. Normal things. The silence between us was different now. It wasn't the stunned silence of the bomb crater. It was the quiet of 2 people working side by side to clear the rubble, wordlessly agreeing not to speak of the explosion unless necessary. A week after the arrest, I put an offer on a small, older condo that needed work. The view was of a park, not the water. The mortgage rate was higher than it should have been thanks to my recovering credit, but the down payment was my own, a mix of my savings and the restitution from my father. The title would be in my name alone. My foundation, however cracked, was mine. When I got the keys, my father helped me move a box of books. He stood in the empty living room looking around. "It's good, Ava. It's solid." I said, "It's mine." He nodded, a world of understanding in the gesture. He helped me assemble my new bed, a simple platform frame. When we were done, he hugged me, a strong, wordless embrace that said everything the silence couldn't. Then he left, promising to come back next weekend to help paint. I was alone in my new home. The silence here was mine too. It wasn't the terrified silence of discovery or the devastated silence of exposure. It was the quiet of a door closing, of a lock turning, of a space waiting to be filled with a life of my own making. I walked to the window looking out at the park. Somewhere, my mother was in a prison dormitory. My father was in his condo sanding wood, and I was here, holding a set of keys, standing in a silence I had reclaimed. The scandal had faded from town gossip. The legal case was closed. The family was broken. But the silence that the exposure left behind wasn't an ending. It was a space. A cold, clean, empty space.
And for the first time, I understood that this silence wasn't her sentence, it was my starting point.